about home. They're married to real estate.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the podcast for people who love real estate and want to become inspired and informed. Whether you are a newbie real estate agent looking to get tips, learn a thing or two, or maybe you're a savvy property owner who wants to get a jump on the market, this is the place for you. We discuss our passion for real estate and people, and we bring together our personal experiences as well as our guests to learn from each other. You'll hear from experts in sales coaching, real estate law, mortgage lending, investing, and many local business owners on how to grow your business or your investment in real estate. I'm Mary McCauley.
I'm Mary Elliott.
I'm Mary Forster.
And we are Married to Real Estate.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Married to Real Estate. Hey, Mary.
Hi.
Mary.
Hello, Mary.
We are. It's a unique day today. Not so unique, but we are with each other today, and we didn't invite anybody to join us to our
No
party.
friends allowed.
But we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful time talking about what 2023 looks like in real estate, and which is really fun because we don't always do that. We do have a bunch of we have a bunch of presenters ready for 2023, nailing down their calendars, and that's a lot of fun. We'll have a roofer. We'll have somebody from the Groton Music Center, which is a local and magnificent, brand new, spanking new, a large music center in a town nearby.
Yep.
We'll be having a real blast, and so it's so fun to see you guys.
Yeah, it's great to see
great
you
to
guys.
see you too.
So we have the joy of talking about 2023 through the lenses of 2022.
Right.
So why don't we start with 2022? Best learning or
Well,
what stands out to you?
I'd like to just start with that this is the best year I've ever had in real estate.
All right.
So in spite of the volatility, the uncertainty, the interest rates, I capped early this year, top 20% in our office. So I was invited to be on the leadership council. So I'm very excited about that.
That's awesome.
I think, I guess from my perspective, it's, don't panic. People always have to buy and sell.
The top word. Panic.
Panic.
Right.
Yes.
Panic. Right, exactly. Yeah. Because I think that, there's inflation and stuff that goes on in the economy that influences things. But, when it comes to it, down to it, I think that you have to do what's right for you in your personal life. And maybe you don't get the best interest rate now, but there are programs that I know Movement Mortgage has one that they're offering, they're waiving their fee for a refi when things do change.
Wow.
And, you still have to pay your closing costs and some of that when you do the refi. But as far as the mortgage company is concerned, it's about $1,500 that they're willing to waive. So I think we'll see maybe more of that, sort of these incentives to get people to buy and to actually do that. And I think it's still, don't wait. The waiting isn't going to do you any good.
Did Dr. Yun say that prices will go up still? Did he say National Association of Realtors?
Yes. In 2023, prices are still on the rise.
Still on the rise. So 7% mortgage, which was the highest we've had in 20 years, is what we heard, right?
Yeah. Right.
But the message is buy and refi. Buy knowing that you're going to carry it for a year and a half.
Yep. Sure.
But know that you're going to refi.
Yeah, and don't be afraid of that. It's sort of a more normal interest rate, and even still lower than some people paid, like me, when I bought my first house.
That's right,
I was
me
in double
too.
digits. So,
I was too. First house, double digits.
And it didn't stop me from buying a house.
Me either. I had no idea that it was like something I should be upset about. I was just like, yay, I'm buying my first house.
Exactly. Exactly. Good point, Mary.
So, Mary, you were also a buyer this year. You were also on the side of a sale for your family.
Yes.
You had all roles.
Yeah. I have. Yeah. I felt like I really was all over the place.
I also want to just say I am so impressed by you, Mary McCauley, because I have watched you this year really put into motion all of the things that you've wanted to do. You're here at WestfordCAT, like taking over the world every door you walk into. You become the president of, but you have driven your career this way through connections with people and volunteerism, and all of that sort of seems to have culminated for you this year to really translate into your business. And I think it's such a beautiful model for the people watching you to say, okay, so yeah, is this your 6th year or 7th year?
No, I got my license 5 years ago, like this week.
Right. Okay. So congrats.
Started.
Well, you're set. You're ready.
That's such a beautiful model.
You are.
Like, that's the right amount of time, right, to hit your stride.
Typical.
Yeah. And it's so inspiring for people who are still like me 2 years in and just like, all right, am I building something? Is this going to work at some point for me? And yeah, it will, because when your heart's in it and you're doing the right stuff and you know your stuff, you know your mortgages, you know the lenders that have the incentive programs, and you can counsel. I think both of you, I'm just talking to Mary McCauley now, but both of you really are knowledgeable and have spent those years learning how to translate that to your clients. And your success this year is proof that it's all worked and you've done it right.
Well, thank you, Mary.
Yeah.
And I want to add the accolade. It's a deserved one as a leader in your brokerage.
Mm-hmm.
As
Absolutely.
a leader, handling a lot of the newbies who have never done real estate before. And Mary Elliott, 2 years in a market that was an up market. Mm-hmm. It's funner when it's a normal market. It's really funner, I have to tell you.
Well, that's what I'm coming into, right?
Yes.
And that's what I was hearing on the Brian Buffini 2023 predictions, is that this speed of the rate of the interest rate is really, really what threw everything off. And it felt like such a Mack truck hitting me and all of my buyers at the same time. But learning how to navigate through that, learning how to counsel your clients through that is so very important. And I think, there was some surface level real estate going on in my first year, right? Like, I knew the steps.
But that's how it was for everyone.
Sure.
Now we're back to a skills-based.
Yes, exactly.
market.
Now it's skills-based.
Now it's skills-based.
Right. I mean, we had those years you could just stick a sign in the ground and the house was gone and 40 people made an offer and it was, $100,000 over, and it was craziness.
Yeah.
And that's not a skill-based market at all.
No.
So, and you started like just as that turn. Mm-hmm. But I think you're a natural and it's going to be great.
You are a natural,
I can't wait to see what you do.
Thank you.
When we're sitting here and it's your 5 years in the business, I can't wait to see, the fabulous things that you've done. And same with you, Mary. You've had multiple careers and multiple roles.
everything.
And I can't wait to see where you're going to be in 5 years now.
Well, what Mary Elliott and Mary McCauley, you have both earned your level of knowledge in an up market. The joy of being a realtor is in a downer market because you get to be more strategic.
Right.
You get to, like you were discussing with Tony Cardinelli last time.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You were talking about how you work together on things.
Yep.
There's more of that.
Yeah, there's
a whole lot
I like that.
Collaboration. Mm-hmm.
Collaboration and thinking about it.
Yep.
I know Peter Thompson in our office is having kind of like at noon times on Friday, having a discussion about what is in the market, how things are changing from his perspective of being a top salesperson for such a long time. That's the kind of joy. I have something to say to both of you.
Okay. I'm ready to hear
I'm ready. All right.
The hardest thing for me as a realtor, and I started in 2009 in Northern Virginia, which was a big, it was sort of a depression, right? Mm-hmm. Was asking people for business.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was the hardest thing that and I had been a lobbyist. I had been a legislative representative for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
Not a shy, shrinking violet.
Right.
But
I can't even imagine.
Never.
Asking people for one, do they have a real estate they would love to have when the time was right for them?
Yep.
Or do they know people who are really looking for good real estate agents, meaning good, meaning sticking power, being creative, finding the Tony Cardinellis or whoever, and working with them. You two are naturals. You two.
Oh,
Are you afraid of asking for business?
No, I don't necessarily make it a priority, and I actually am very lucky to have clients that. I had some that came to an event I had that have little kids, and I did a photos with Santa thing, and they were like, we keep thinking of who, is going to be buying a house that we know so we can send them to you.
Oh.
That's really lovely. That says
wonderful.
a lot about relationships.
It
and
does.
That's important to me. That's important to
Yeah.
you. I know that's important to you.
Yeah.
You're such a big connector, Mary.
That's my job in
In
life.
fact, you started a podcast.
Yes.
You started yet?
Have you started?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I have to pay my dues here at CAT.
Okay.
So Buffini quoted NAR today and said that of people whom you've helped buy or sell a house, on average, 50% of them talk to 2 other potential clients and give them your name.
Right.
Yep.
27% reference you to 4 people.
Ooh.
Right.
All right.
Whoa.
Well, it's interesting. I had I went on a listing appointment recently, and it was the neighbor of someone. I had sold their house in 2020, early 2020, and the neighbor kept my name, kept my information, and so I went, did my listing presentation, walked through the house. He wasn't quite ready yet, and I kind of thought I had that one, and he was a little bit, not answering my text back as quickly, kind of a thing, and then he said he decided to go with someone else, a local realtor, and I said, well, I'm always trying to improve and get better, and do you mind telling me, why I didn't? And he said it was absolutely nothing you did. If I didn't know this person on a different level, my girlfriend knows the family realtor, whatever, a different connection, which we're there. We get business that way too. So, but he was like, absolutely, it was nothing you did. And in fact, I'm going to refer you, the next time anyone asks me. And I thought that was really nice.
That's worth it. Yeah.
And you asked him.
I did.
You asked him. Isn't that awesome?
That's bold. I'm proud of you for that.
Bold.
It is
I don't
bold.
always do
love
that.
it. I love
No,
it.
that's a great thing to
But
do.
it was,
Yep.
and even if it was a negative result, like, you really could have done this better, that'd be great.
It'd still be a
helpful is
learning
that?
experience.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So I didn't get, it was like a good news, bad news,
Yeah. Yeah.
So know that half of your clients are going to refer you to other people.
Yeah.
So the ask basically is
Through service.
Do you have anybody that you suggest I speak to? Is there anybody I need to follow up? And may I have their phone number? And to just be more proactive.
Yeah.
So we're going to have 1 in 5 deals fall apart.
Right.
We have people who are getting 7% interest. We're getting people
60,000 deals.
That's right.
Fell apart.
60,000
per
deals.
month.
And what percent? I mean, 1 in 5 sounds like, oh my, that makes me
A little
my
nervous.
heart rate
Yeah.
go up a little bit. But what was it before? What was it in 2019? What
We
was it?
gave
Great
all those
question.
numbers. He gave all the
Yeah.
numbers.
I need to go back
65
and
went
look.
up this year, 60 the year before, 65 the year before that.
Right.
So we're seeing that, and it's lost. But because we have 70% of realtors who haven't lived through a normal market,
Right.
we need to be prepared.
That's right.
Yes.
That's the
No, I
idea.
agree. I think being prepared is key.
And he also said that by the end of this year, 200,000 agents will no longer be active.
Yes.
Well, yes.
And
That's what I remember. When I went in 2009, this office in Northern Virginia in McLean had 120 agents. By
Right.
the time I went there, they had 60.
wow.
Right. But we
Yeah.
did see the biggest influx
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
of
And I was part of that.
Very
during
good
the
point.
pandemic.
Yeah, no, and I
Ever.
was part of that, and I have to be honest and say that there were a couple of months at the end of this summer that I was contemplating, am I going to be one of these agents that gets out of the game? But I have people like you guys in my life, and that see that I have a natural skill, right? And that may not be something easy for me to recognize on my own, but having people understand it about me gave me the impetus to not leave and just tough it out and
Plus,
stick it out.
you have a track record.
I have a track record. I have a good track record.
There are plenty of agents that got into it during the pandemic that haven't done one piece
sold
of
anything.
business.
Yeah, right.
So I wouldn't, even if you're going to have some negative self-talk, perhaps, which
We're all allowed.
don't
You're
usually
allowed to have negative self-talk.
Still, you got to read that book, Soundtracks by John
you're
Acuff.
right. You're right.
So you can change that soundtrack.
Gosh, I keep
it's
forgetting
a really
that one.
good.
I talked myself out of it.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Get rid of that soundtrack. Put in the one to buy a book.
All right.
Wait. Isn't she the one whose first closing made national news?
Yes, I mean, come on.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh, who, me?
Little
Are you that person?
I am.
Yes. So,
Gosh,
is that like under a star or?
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And, in fact, my son has a friend visiting from school over this holiday break, which is filling my heart with so much joy. And he just asked me this morning about when I got into real estate and why. And I was explaining to him my why. And it just reminded me, honestly, that all of the pieces that I love about just life in general, connecting with people, helping people, looking inside houses, all of those things.
Restoring,
restoring, making money, all of that stuff is all tied into real estate. And I really do truly love this business. Yeah. And so I can't leave it. I just am sort of reinventing the way I'm doing it right now. And
which is exciting.
Yeah.
And it's a path that, you need to take now, and that's great.
Yeah.
Take every
Love
opportunity.
That. I agree. I think you should never try not to say no.
Yeah, no. And that's kind of where I'm at. I didn't say no to this new opportunity, and it's going to be exciting for me, I think. So I guess I should tell people.
Tell people.
So I have left Keller Williams for now. And
you always come home.
Yes, I can. My original family, but I was really sort of made me feel so good. I was recruited by another company that focuses on relocation, corporate relocation of high-level executives. And this is a business that doesn't go away. It doesn't shrivel. It doesn't shrink and expand really with the market. Corporations are corporations for the most part. I mean, when we get to a truly down market, that might change. Hopefully we don't get there. But this is so much more of a consistent, sure thing. These clients come to you ready to go, told that they need to have a new house in a new location in 2 months. And it's not a waffling, I have to handhold you through the process, educate you on what mortgage to get. That's already done for them. Okay. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think I had some great success with some of my clients that did relocate over the last couple of years. We did make national news.
Right. So there you go.
Yeah. So, and I've done it myself a couple of times. So from a mother who's moved across the country 2 times, I understand that feeling very well. Cool. And it really will get to stretch the biggest piece of this business really is the empathy piece and just understanding what they're going through. That the housing is almost a little secondary. It's just walking them through, getting them comfortable with the area that they live in. And as we know, I'm the mayor of Groton.
You are. Yes, you sure are.
That's right.
The mayor of Groton.
Yeah, there is no mayor, by the way, but yeah.
The official, unofficial.
Yes.
Mayor, I was always thinking too is, Devens is right nearby.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's I don't know how many military folks are still connected over there.
You know what Devens is turning into? It is less and less military, although there is a small base there still, but it is the movie industry.
There is a big
there is a movie studio in Devens, and this is a huge piece in relocation because people are coming out from or wherever else.
Yeah, they want to. Yes, that's right.
From California, they're making movies out here. More and more things are being shot in Massachusetts and New England. It's a beautiful backdrop for any movie. But this studio is bringing in tons of people. I have a connection with one of the people on the, I'm not going to quote it correctly. I can't remember it specifically, but it's the theater tech people union. And so she works there at that studio very much, and so do all the people in the union. And she's saying people are coming in daily needing to rent new houses for 2 months or 3 months or however long the production's going to be. So I think there's a huge opportunity there too. And I see that, and it's in my backyard. So I can't wait to pounce on that. And, you know, I'll be hanging out with like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon pretty soon.
Well, you know, you mentioned renting, and apparently that is going to be a big catalyst for owning in the next 12 to 18 months.
Yes.
Well, rents are ridiculous.
Astronomical.
Ridiculous.
Yes.
And you make no profit.
Nope.
You make
No
no
equity.
no
No,
wealth.
It's
no
throwing
wealth
money into a
building.
hole.
Right.
Yeah.
You pay 100% of a mortgage.
You pay somebody else's
so forget,
mortgage.
forget
you pay
7%.
That's exactly.
You're paying 100%.
Yeah, absolutely right, Mary.
Exactly
That's a great
right.
way to say it. Yeah.
It is really.
Yeah.
So that's what we were hearing today as well, was just the rents are out of sight. It's important for us to talk to people about what they get when they invest that money, and the difference over time, because real estate is inflation proof.
Yeah.
Their rents will rise, no question about it. But when you own your home,
Your equity goes up.
your equity goes up, and your mortgage payments largely stay the same.
Stay the same.
Well, and we're lucky we live in a part of the country that holds its value. There's a lot of, not
Yes.
every town, not every state, has
Employment. Yeah.
schools, employment, just,
Yeah, I
a
think
whole different
Massachusetts is doing a good job
demographic.
of attracting businesses here.
Yes.
And we may still have bitter cold winters, but people still really want to live here.
It truly is quality of
Well,
life.
that's
It
how
is.
you learn to
Yeah.
ski.
That's how you learn to do everything in life.
No. Exactly. Coming back here was really wonderful, I have to say. It's a great part of the country to live in. Northern Virginia's a little homogenous, and I was there many years in D.C., but here every town is different, and it just feels right. Closer in the city, even that, there's quite a bit of difference here, which is a lot of fun. And Groton, Massachusetts, and Westford, Massachusetts.
Destination Groton.
Destination Groton.
And Nashua, New Hampshire.
Yeah, New Hampshire.
I have our edition of Neshoba Valley Living that I can show you guys, that our committee sort of put together with the editor, and it's all about Groton, and it's very exciting to us because we're just like, we're a published entity now.
Good. On the map.
Yeah,
for sure,
on the
now.
map. We picked the photos. We did the stuff. It's really great. And Groton really is such a special little spot in this Neshoba Valley, and we're surrounded by so many other really amazing
Westford
towns.
was officially part of Groton before it became Westford.
Was it really?
Yes,
Oh,
it
most
was.
of the towns around. Air was, Harvard was. Most of the towns were part of Groton originally. Groton was the original sort of hub or stopping place for anybody coming out
horse and
from
carriage.
Boston. Yeah, with a horse and carriage. Exactly right. So it's a day-long trip by horse and carriage from Boston to Groton, and they would stop at what was the
Groton
world's
Inn.
first inn,
The Groton
or not
Inn?
the world's first, America's first inn, the Groton Inn.
Really?
They'd stop there, and so that when the town incorporated it was so much land, and it just started from there. And then as time went on, people were like, wait, no, we want this to be our own town, and we want to have government. It was Pepperell, Townsend, Harvard, Air, Shirley, all of that was
Wonderful.
Groton.
These are great towns for people outside the area. This is a really wonderful area to
Yeah.
visit and to get to
Beautiful
know
spot.
people in, and call great realtors.
Yeah.
and
Call
all
great
those good things.
realtors who've got good connections.
That's right.
One of the nice changes I think we're going to see for next year is that clients are going to have an opportunity. They're going to have some choice. Whereas there, as was pointed out in some of the analysis we've
Yeah.
read, a lot of people were panic buying
Yep.
because there was nothing to buy.
Yeah.
And they were out trying to beat the other 20, people who made offers. And so a good 20% of people are living in houses they really aren't crazy about right now. So buyers for the coming years will, because there's less pressure in the market right now, they will have the opportunity for home inspections.
Yes.
Well, now, Mary, are you bringing this point up because of your personal experience for when you relocated back here?
No, when I relocated back here, that wasn't the case.
Not loving your first house.
No, that was buying a house sight unseen in this fast-moving Westford environment here, and selling it within 11 months.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
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 Oh, man.
But I like a woman who, knows what she likes.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I love that.
There's nothing wrong with it. I think that's fine. Listen, it's hard to know everything about a house in all of the the 2 or 3 showings max you might get at it prior to buying it.
45 minutes there if you're
Exactly.
lucky?
I never saw the house. I never saw it.
Right.
It was sight
that's
unseen.
what I'm saying is it's hard to know when you get that.
Right.
It's almost impossible to know when you
exactly.
haven't had that at all. And it's perfectly understandable. There are little quirks to every house, really. And when you are living with them, sometimes they're not so little anymore.
Well, it was kind of panic buying, as Mary said. It was buying a house. We couldn't see it. We didn't have the time to come up. I had a very busy market back in Virginia. My husband's work wouldn't allow him to get out. He was just so immersed in his work.
Right.
And so there was low ceilings in that house. It was dark. These didn't show in the pictures, right? These didn't stand out.
That's why you have to go see it.
You have to go see it. You have to smell it. You have to smell it.
Yep. Yes. And take a look around. Feel it a little bit.
Feel it a little bit, yeah.
I'm going to be doing a lot of video showings for my clients, and I would like to have somebody invent smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I think the key to what you're going to be doing is, and I'm sure you know this, and I'm sure your new place has, things in place, but is to really, really get deep with what they want.
Exactly.
So that you can feel that for them.
And that's really exciting to me. I love that.
And
I love digging in and figuring out what the family, what they do for fun and how they like to relax and what, how they operate. Yeah. I just love that stuff in general.
Yeah. We do it in regular real estate, but relo will be even more challenging and more fun. I think you'll really sharpen those skills.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
And I'll get into, little things about schools or who's got a great, if they have a star football player in their house that's moving from California and he was really on a track, and what's the right town for you to go to play football? Those kind of things that become really important when you're losing what you're used to. I love figuring that out for people and guiding them in the right direction. And it is, like I said, a little less about the house itself. It's more about the area and what that can provide for you. So that'll be wonderful.
And we also have that ethics issue about steering. We are constantly, bumping up against that. Yes, this high school won the championship last year, no question about it. And their star is a senior, and he's gone.
Yeah.
Or she's gone or whatever.
Right.
And so, so that's information.
Right. Yep. Or here's the state rankings for the best.
Exactly.
Here's the website so you can go do your own due diligence.
First of all, I am wholly unqualified to tell anybody about where good football is played. But
it just says something about how deep you want to go to get your people the right house for them and live in the best community that you can help them to. So I just wanted to change gears for just a second. Sure. So Lawrence Yun, who's the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors, he had put out a report recently about 2023 and has a great slide that I just loved, and it was about the home price crashing coming. So what he was talking about was, job cuts. So in the last housing cycle, there were 8 million job cuts. The current housing cycle, none. Right? So this goes back to panic, and I think maybe we'll post this slide on our
that's a great
Facebook page. Yep. But it was just the kinds of things that, because people have been saying sort of this during this whole pandemic time. Is this bubble going to burst? When's it going to crash? Right. I'm going to wait for the crash. But it's not. It's not the same animal at all. And I think people really need to know that.
Yeah, I think that's a huge message that came out of the bold predictions is stop, don't panic. Nothing is going to go crazy. It's not exactly what Mary just said. It's not the same beast that it was in 2007. Right. This is a very different situation.
And that was created by the mortgage.
It was created by the housing industry. It really
banking.
was.
Right.
Yeah.
But also there are some sectors that are laying people off. So if you're over in in California right now, some of those sectors are Seattle laying people off. So some of the tech markets, I guess, are. So there are some. But yes, Dr. Yun was very clear about the stability of the employment market.
Yep.
It's really good.
Yeah. So, everyone take a look at our Facebook page and we'll post that.
Yeah.
So that you can see and, take a little breath.
And stop waiting, because this is a stable time right now. It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't sound like it if you listen to the news, but it is a stable time. As we said in the beginning, 7% is really not astronomical, and people have operated and owned houses with 12% mortgages and and survived. So it's not a reason to stop. If your life is telling you it's time to move, it should just be time to move.
Yep.
Yeah.
And honestly, I love the fact that, home inspections are back.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think that protects everyone.
Yep.
Mortgage appraisals.
Yep. Everything.
Right.
And I think negotiations, are good and different. And, goes back to skill based, that it's important to have those skills.
Absolutely. And back to the panic buying too, is that those buyers that were throwing $100,000 over asking on their offers, that's going to sort of subside. That is not going to drive up the prices the same. It's not going to be driving up the prices the way it did in 2020. And that's such a good thing for the rest of the buyers, for the industry,
altogether.
Right? That for those buyers that can't do $100,000 over asking, waive the appraisal contingency, waive everything. It's so much better for those buyers to just say, okay, I know the reasonable price for this house. I'm going to make a reasonable offer, ask for an inspection, and voila, get the house. Oh my gosh.
Well, and, just to make a point that it's still a seller's market. And the reason it's still a seller's market is because inventory is low.
Yep.
And as long as it's low, it's going to still be a seller's market. It's just not that over-the-top crazy seller's market. So, sellers that, your neighbor's house a year ago sold for, whatever, $100,000 over what a list agent might be telling you your house should go on the market for.
Right.
That's an adjustment in the market. It's just, prices have come down, interest rates have gone up. It's just the natural cycle of things. And, you weren't ready then, and that's okay.
So Buffini talked about that. He said, those sellers who were thinking it was still 6 months ago, and June and prices are there, are lamenting that they missed out.
Right. Yep.
And they missed out on the highest, craziest possible market. But what he asked us to do as agents, realtors, is to point out that just a year ago, the value of your house was even less.
Yep.
And so he gave numbers, Mayor. He said average price a year in January was $350. In June, $384. You're listing probably around $390, something like that, or maybe $375. You're still way ahead when you were in January, and then the previous January.
Yep.
So you've outstripped the gains in the stock market, and so the concept of building on what you were saying, Mary, is I didn't make a mistake. I made a decision about the time in my life in which to sell this house.
That's right.
And I think that's the thing. You can't tie it to, coulda, shoulda, woulda. I mean, I feel that way anyway about a lot of things, anyway. Not one to really look back. Just keep moving
Admirable.
forward.
Admirable.
Well, it's not easy and maybe not always smart, but,
Who cares? We're the ones doing the
But I'm
looking,
just saying that, yes, I agree, with that wholeheartedly. I think, you have to do what's right for you. And in the time that it's right.
Right.
And
it's such a good thing to point out to your clients who are like, oh, I really missed the mark. I should have sold at the height of the market. Well, okay, but look at what you paid for your house 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago.
You're still making $250,000.
You're still gonna exactly. Well, your return on investment is astronomical, and as you say, higher than a stock market investment would have been.
Right, could have done.
Yeah.
And they didn't put down $250,000.
No, they did not.
They put down 40.
Yeah.
Or 30 or 20.
Or less. Yes,
or
exactly.
20. And they're walking away with a
So
check
the
for
return on their investment
$240,000
of money put in.
Exactly.
For sure.
It's such a fun. I always kind of love doing that with clients. Like, so what did you buy this house for? Not what is your in your current mortgage, because they may have paid that down quite well. But what did you actually pay, and where are we landing today?
Yeah.
It's not $5 more. It's always a large number. It's at least 75 if it's any amount of time whatsoever, over 5 years, let's say. It's a huge amount of money.
Well, and to go back to the predictions, we may not see those quick rises in equity in your home like we've seen.
Yep.
And they're going to level off a little, and then they're going to climb again.
Yep.
So it's just, a slower
it always
growth
will. Real
rate.
estate is always a good investment.
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
So we're going to see less panic. We're going to see more buyer's sense of security and safety around
Making a
home
smart
inspections,
decision.
making a hard decision, walking away from a house that really doesn't feel right.
Right.
We're going to see agents having to be much more proactive in terms of getting their business and serving their clients and being really, really creative. And I think that's going to be the very fun
That
part.
is going to be the fun part.
Fun part.
Yep.
And we're going to see interest rates maybe stabilize over the next year, but definitely into 24, we'll see them come down.
Down.
Well, I think they expect them to come down in the spring as well, like to fives, but they might not hold there. We might see some fluctuation.
Yeah.
Some
fluctuation.
Yeah, what they're saying is we went from 3% to over 7% in a very few months.
In 4 months.
Ridiculous.
Yes.
And it was different every week or every day or every hour of every day. I was buying a house during that time, so I know this.
So you really knew?
I really rode that wave.
Yeah.
Up and down and up and down and up and down.
Oh, scary.
You have no control over
But
it.
I think the sticker shock of that is going to be over by this spring.
Yeah.
People are used to the idea of getting 6s or 7s back on their interest rates at this point, and it's not shocking because 5 weeks ago they were at a 2.5, and now today they're at a 7. It's like, what the heck is this? I just had a buyer tell me that she had to pre-approve, and she's like, 6.25 is unacceptable. I'm like, no, that's great right now. Take it.
Right.
And the other thing, too, is real estate is an investment, a long-term investment, so it will be inflation-proof. It will be. If you're sitting on a pile of cash, you're watching its value dwindle this year by 8.5%, right? Next year, possibly by 8%.
Right. If you're looking at your 401k.
Yeah, you know what that looks like.
Crying.
That's exactly right. So if you use that money to talk, to a really awesome realtor to say, how can I invest that, like in a multifamily or, in some kind of syndicate, then you're using that money really, really well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy.
I'm happy.
I'm excited for this next year. I think I have leveled out my expectations, and just kind of like the buyers in the market have, right? And so I think in the beginning, all of my buyers are like, I can buy a glorious, amazing house because my interest rate is so low. And then it's come down to sort of reality where it's like, oh, okay, so maybe I'm not getting the $1.5 million house anymore that I don't really need. I don't need that square footage,
Plus with energy increases, that's been crazy. So, I mean, they could have afforded it at 2.5%, but could they afford the upkeep of it?
Exactly right. And I think it's going to be such a much more rational market that we're operating in. People are going to, as you say, no more panicking. It's just, okay, let's think this through.
Right. And back to skills, back to basics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back to just a nice, balanced, even, not.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what a normal market looks like. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited too.
Yeah.
And anything else we want to cover in this conversation
No, I can't wait to see what 2023 brings.
Me
and
too.
I'm excited to be back on this journey with you ladies.
Yes.
Me too.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wish you guys both the very best of holidays.
Yes, you
and
too.
the happiest of New Year. Are
Happy New
we
Year.
seeing each other before the New Year?
Probably
I
not.
don't think
Yeah.
so.
Probably
Okay.
not. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Good deal. This is
So,
our last
Merry,
one of
merry, happy, happy.
2022.
Yeah. Award-winning.
Yes.
Award-winning.
Award-winning
forget
podcast.
that.
Yes.
That's right.
Nick is laughing. Nick, our producer.
Do not diminish our award.
Who also won that award with us, but he's still giggling.
Didn't care enough to show up to the ceremony.
Right. Right. I think he won 2 awards that night as the producer.
Awards. That's right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we're the 3rd place winners, and his other team is the first place. I get it.
Yeah.
That's why he's laughing over there.
Yeah.
Well, Mary,
Just means he's got to work harder for us.
It's been a great year to be with you.
Yes.
And
Yes.
just great.
Yes. Can't
Onward
wait to see what
and
next
upward.
year brings.
Onward and upward.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay,
Thanks,
bye-bye.
everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Mary, Mary, and Mary, so extraordinary. Well, now they're talking about houses, they're talking about home, they're married.